Welcome to another video. I wanted to do this video because I see it a lot whenever I see someone talk about original six franchises. And whenever they do alternates and thirds and reverse retros this year, there's always the conversation of they could have done this or they could have done that and blah 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 and they okay. Pause, pause, pause. And let me explain why. Let me fetch a Goozy of an original six franchise that I own that often gets criticized for not changing the way they look. Detroit. Detroit has had the same jersey look since I want to say the 30s and 40s, the late 40s. Somewhere around there. When they got this winged wheel, they nailed it out of the park. The colors were simple and they made sense. Red and white. Simple color scheme for a rather simplistic jersey. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just what you see is what you get. Now, I will say this. The white one, to me, is a classic look and should remain completely untouched. But whenever they release an alternate, or in general, I often see people say, well, they could have done something to spruce up the red one just a bit. To which I say, I really don't know what you think they could do. Because they're an original six franchise. And original six franchises don't have a lot of looks. Now, here's another thing. Original six franchises also have fan bases that are kind of sort of connected to the jersey. Remember back when the Rangers introduced the blue one with the striping and it had the shield up at the front that looked like the Winnipeg Jets jersey? Yeah, it was hated. And when they had the Statue of Liberty jersey, even though it was a nice jersey, kind of not so much. And then I always went back to their classic red, white, and blue Rangers down the front of it, which is a classic look for them. Detroit, they never changed. They've always had the winged wheel. Toronto has changed a few times, but ultimately they go back to that classic 1960s-esque look. Boston, when they came up with their current jersey, yeah, they nailed it out of the park as well. Montreal, they've literally never changed the only thing that changes is logo size and color for Montreal, really. There's no changes at all. So, you have that going for you. So, when you look at original six franchises, and I'm trying to think, Boston, New York, Chicago is a good one. Chicago, they will never change their jerseys. Win a few Stanley Cups and those things, yeah, they're not going to change the jerseys. And Detroit is much the same way. Now, I will say this. I saw a lot of people say, when they came out with the ideas, they could have done something to spruce up the jersey. To which I say, not really. Even though you can look at the red one and be like, it's kind of bland because it's just all red with a little bit of white. Here's the reason I think they shouldn't. So let's say this. Let's say when the Adidas came out, they decided they were going to do this wing. Instead of the white, it was going to be this nice, glossy, shiny, shimmery silver. And the collar was going to have silver around the neckline. And the white striping was going to be silver as well. So the jerseys would have been red and silver. The teams in the crapper in the tubes. So you already associated your brand new jersey with the look that you're trying to push as the new one. Same with Ottawa. Ottawa waited the year that they were in the middle of a rebuild. They didn't rebrand. Now they're rebranding now that they hope they're going to be the next step above. To which I say, Detroit really nailed it because they never changed their look. So while this jersey can be associated with the bad, the 1980s, early 1990s, if you're talking about playoff success, and now, this jersey can also remind you of the good. Stanley Cup wins, all that sort of glorious stuff. Now, as for what they could have done for their reverse retro, I don't know. I'm not a jersey designer. I think what they did was a little bit boring. I would like to see it in person before I make any sort of judgment. This Reebok is the only thing I own in Detroit, so yeah, there's that. But that's the beauty of Detroit. I get this jersey, and I already have all the representation I need, because to me, Reebok has the best collar. This V with this piece of fabric behind is a nice look. It's not as exposed as the CCMs, and it's not as tight around the neck as the Adidas. It's a good balance. The logo is nice. I think there's nothing really Detroit needs to change with their logo. This winged wheel is probably the nicest logo in hockey because of the simplicity. You have a wheel, which represents in Detroit with the Motor City. You have the wing, which represents, of course, the red wings, and it's red. Go figure. Now, again, I think if they were to do something interesting for the future for a third, something that I would personally do for like a third would be, I would add an extra stripe at the bottom, because this is a lot of red, so maybe an extra white stripe somewhere here that's thin. Maybe the white shoulders, since the white has the red shoulders, maybe white on the shoulders. White collar. You could go with a silver fabric right there for the wheel. Yeah, not really much to say with, other than if you're gonna design a third for an original 16, there's not a whole lot you can do. And I think Detroit nailed it out of the park with theirs. The Rangers nailed it out of the park with theirs. Montreal nailed it years ago. Toronto finally nailed it. Boston, when they introduced their current look in the 2000s, they nailed it. So, yeah. Now, of their reverse retros, I'm going to go ahead and say, Boston, all of them are boring to me. Toronto, they went with the Harold Ballard look, which, why? And you had it gray instead of white. So, cool. Detroit just removed pretty much all red from the jersey. It's just white with some gray, which, also why? Montreal just flipped the colors and everyone acted like it was the greatest thing in the world. Again, why? Boston just brought back their yellow jersey, so, that's cool. The only original and Chicago brought back one of their classics, which, again, cool. Chicago and the Rangers, I think, are the only two original sixes that did it right. Toronto's, I think, is a little bit boring. It's just blue and gray, and it's the Harold Ballard look, which was the worst time for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Detroit just kind of washed out their look. Montreal just flipped the colors, and again, because it's Montreal, everyone acts like it's the greatest thing in the world, which I don't understand. The Rangers, definitely far and away, they did a really good job with theirs. And Chicago, while the look of the jersey isn't that great, I give them credit for at least trying. And I want to also say this. Toronto, Chicago, and the Rangers are the only teams that have any sort of variations in their logo that they could do a reverse retro and have it be different. Montreal couldn't unless they stuck to the leaf that said CAC on the front. Detroit couldn't unless they went with the D or the word Detroit. Or a different wheel, like the one that was on their Winter Classic. But other than that, it's always been this. So, of course, let me know what you think down in the comments section below. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me when I say that the Detroit jersey is a clean look. It is. Original six teams have really good, clean jerseys, in my opinion. And pretty much all of them, even though I'm not a huge fan of Boston or the Rangers, their jersey is pretty sweet. It is pretty clean. Detroit's is as well. Toronto's is. Montreal's is. Original sixes have clean jerseys. Anyway, thank you everybody so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. If you're interested, subscribe. Talk to you later.